Oh, excuse me. Hey there. Hello, how do you do? My name is Harry Watson. Thanks for coming. It's the 80s, darling. Yes, it is. It is January 1984. It's about 1 or 1:30 or 2 in the morning on a Sunday, and I'm in my bus ride, my night bus ride home from the bus stop bar, the Blarney Stone, where Margie and Michael and Gregory and I all had an evening hanging around having drinks. And Margie apparently hasn't moved an inch or learned a bloody thing. So it's very disappointing. And I'm kind of saddened by all this because why does she hate us? We're obviously not whoremongers. We're obviously just a bunch of friendly, drunk idiots. Oh well. Anyhow, now it's the next week. And it's the same miserable story every miserable night. Every miserable evening, Margie comes in and drops off Michael. Every miserable night, she picks him up and takes him home. That goes on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday. And then Thursday, they don't show up on time. So when I get to work on Thursday at around 6 o'clock, it's just Francine and Steve. Gregory ain't around. Michael ain't around. And it's just the three of us when I get there. So Steve's helping occasional customers. Francine's tallying up people at the cash register, and I'm moving bottles down to the basement and stacking them in the racks. Right. Between customers, at one point, Steve's got his wine paperback book guide, the Bespaloff guide, an excellent reference. And he says, look at he's looking at a bottle of wine. We got some first growths here. This is some really exquisite wine, he says. This should be more expensive. Francine says, yes, Stuart always liked to sell the wine at the lowest price possible allowed by law. Yes, 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 said Steve. Yes, the lowest price possible allowed by New York state law. But Stuart isn't in New York state, is he? He's in the state of Connecticut now, isn't he? So at that point, in comes another customer, a highly enthusiastic, highly energetic young woman in her 30s, bounding in. She's got a huge smile and she's got a clingy polyester print dress. And she lopes up to the counter and she goes to Francine. She says, hello, do you have any red wine? And then she laughs a little bit too much. Oh, I mean, do you have any chilled red wine? And Francine said, well, as a matter of fact, and Steve moves in. He says, perhaps I can help you. She says, yes, perhaps you could help me find a bottle of chilled red wine. He said, I'd love to help you find a bottle of chilled red wine. And Francine says, oh, brother. And she turns around and picks up the phone. She says, Vino Veritas. And right at that point in time, she picked up the phone. Somebody was there. It's all about timing. She's like, oh, hello. Hi. Hi, Joe. Apparently it's Joe. Oh, sure. Absolutely. How much is your check? How much is the check for? And she writes something down. All right. Okay, we'll have Harry come by in a little bit with your case of port, your case of marshmallow port and pints. Yes. We got it. We got it all for you, baby. All right. All right. We'll see you. All right. Bye. And she hangs up the phone. She turns to us and she says, so I picked up the phone and Joe was right there. You didn't know I was psychic, did you? And the lady laughs at that, and Stephen moves in like he thinks he's a matinee idol. And he says, yes, perhaps I could interest you in some of these first growths we have here. It's exquisite wine. It's really delightful. And she says, yes, but is it chilled? I want something that's chilled so that we can just drink it on the way. Don't you have any Lambrusco? Francine turns to me. She says, Harry, that was Joe, as you heard. You should go down and get his case of marshmallow port in pints. I say, right away. And I dash down the stairs and I bring it on up, put it on the counter. Francine is meanwhile uh, uh, counting out the cash We're going to cash Joe's Social Security check. We are his connection to the world. This is where he gets his Social Security check cashed. The booze store. We are his connection. Right. So she counts out the money minus the price of the case of port, marshmallow port and pints. And she gives me that money in an envelope, and then I pick up the case and I say, all right, back in a flash. And so I go out the door, and Joe just lives a couple blocks right up here on 85th Street. So I just carry the box of booze, and I get to Joe's place and I buzz, and he buzzes me in. He lives in a basement apartment. Yeah, it's a little bit like squalor. The drywall is all messed up, and the ceiling tiles are missing, and the floor is uneven. It seems like it's going to rack and ruin. It does. But Joe himself is always tidy. Yes, his clothes always look clean. His shirt is always tucked in. He looks like the the stocky, steady, proletariat worker from the posters in the 1940s. Yes. Now, I'm not saying that he is the picture of health, mind you. I think the only thing that he actually eats is this marshmallow port. I think that is a major part of his diet. Yes. But he's got such a fantastic attitude that I love this guy. He's very positive. He's always in a great mood. He's always so friendly. And so I put the case of port on his kitchen counter, and I give him the envelope of money, and he gives me his Social Security check. I fold it up, put it in my pocket, and he's like, reaches into that precious envelope. And, he's on a fixed income, but he reaches in, he takes out two of those precious dollars and gives them to me. He says, $2 for the delivery person. He says, yeah, it's the least I can do. I say, Joe, you are my hero. We shake hands, and he meets eyes with me when we shake hands. I love that guy. Anyhow, so I go back to the shop. Francine's standing in there alone. I go, what's going on? Where is everybody? And Francine makes a face. She shrugs, and she points to the office. And I go, well, what do you mean? She said, practically since you left, they've been back in the office back there. I don't think they're having sex. And I said, you don't think they're having sex? Well, what a comfort that is. What, should I just go back there? She says, no, no, no. What if they are? I said, they're not. Suddenly we hear sort of a bump, crunch from the office. And I say, hey, Francine slaps my arm. I say, I don't know. And then Steve and this lady both come out, and they walk up to the front of the store. Steve is grinning like the Cheshire fucking cat for some reason. Right. And the lady's grinning too. She's got a very lovely smile, by the way. And then it's weird because we're all standing around. Nobody's saying anything. And these people are just grinning. And Francine and I are like, what's going on? And then Stephen eventually breaks the silence. He says, Francine, Harry, I'd like you to meet Conchita. She's my new secretary. And Francine and I are rather surprised by that, but we're like, wow. Francine says, welcome. And I say, yes, welcome to our happy little family. Did I say happy? I meant to say dysfunctional. And she laughs a little bit at that. Oh. She always laughs a little bit too long. Steve just stands there grinning. Right. Well, now we've got a new person in the Vino Veritas family. Isn't it exciting? Apparently. So now it's that weekend, and I'm not at work. I'm roaming around the Upper West Side looking for a place to drink. Yeah, I'm looking for, when I'm roaming around the Upper West Side, I'm usually looking for a place to drink or a place to eat or a place to go to the loo. Those are my three priorities when I'm roaming around the Upper West Side, right? So you get to a traffic light. It says, stop and don't walk. And you're standing on the corner with a bunch of strangers, and there's this whole group of people, and they're waiting together, but separately. We're waiting together for this light, but we're separate from each other. We're separate, but we're together. It's very interesting. It's very interesting, the dynamic. And I'm standing there, and I look over. Who am I standing next to but Frances McDormand? I just saw the movie Blood Simple, and I love her in that movie. I love that movie, and I loved her in it. And I'm like, okay. And I do a little equation in my head. Well, she's not exactly a movie star yet. It probably won't be. She'll probably still like to be recognized every now and then. And I'm not going to ask her for her autograph or anything like that. I just want to say hello. And so I decide to risk it. I say, Frances McDormand. She says, hi. I say, excuse me. And then the light turns walk. So we both start walking together. I say, I just wanted to say, I saw Blood Simple. I loved that movie. I loved you in it. I just wanted to say, I think your work is wonderful. And I just wanted to say hello. And she says, why? Thank you very much. That's very kind of you. You can call me Fran. I say, aha, lovely. My name is Harry. She says, well, Harry, we made that movie, Blood Simple, a couple of years ago already. And I'm like, really? She says, yes. She says, right now I'm on my way downtown to my acting classes. I say, well, that's fantastic. Well, you have a fantastic rest of the day. It's an honor to meet you. And thank you so much. And she says, thank you so much. Bye now. And off she goes. Poof, she was gone. I go, well, that's fantastic. She said, you can call me Fran. I did not annoy her. Hooray. And I was delighted when I saw her about a month later on the subway this time. And she was so nice the first time. I said, okay, I'm just going to say hello. I say, Miss McDormand? She says, yes. I say, excuse me. I just wanted to say, I saw Blood Simple and I loved that movie. I loved you in it. I just think your work is wonderful. And I just wanted to say hello. She says, why? That's very nice of you. You can call me Fran. I says, hello. How do you do? My name's Harry. She says, hi. She says, I'm on my way downtown to my acting classes right now. And I said, and I didn't want to put her in the position of having to remind her that we had this exact same conversation just a month ago. It's all right. And so I say, well, here's my stop. And I get off. I say, it's an honor to meet you, my dear, and continued success, I say. She said, thank you so much. And the door shut, and the subway train goes away. And I'm standing there, and I walk upstairs. Now, you don't want to be part of the burden. You don't want to be part of the problem. You want to be a friendly. You don't want to ask for anything. You want to put in a couple of compliments without gushing and then get out. Right. Say hello and be gone. You don't want to be part of the burden. The burden of celebrity. Oy. All right. Like, subscribe, share, and comment. For the love of mercy, please comment. I love it when you comment. I love to hear what you have to say. All right. I look so forward to telling you what happens next.